Have you ever looked at someone else's life and felt that sharp sting in your chest? That silent, bitter voice inside whispering, "Why not me?" Maybe it was when a friend landed the dream job, or when a stranger showed off their perfect body, their perfect relationship, their perfect life. You smiled, you nodded, but deep inside, something burned. That feeling, that's jealousy. And you've been told it's wrong. You've been told it's toxic, that it's shameful. But what if they were wrong? What if I told you that jealousy isn't your enemy, but your fuel? What if I told you that behind every pang of envy lies a message, a map, a mirror showing you exactly who you want to become? And most importantly, what if you could use it to get there? Let me be clear. Jealousy isn't weakness. Jealousy is data. It reveals your deepest desires, the things you're too afraid to admit you want. And in Shadow Mastery, we don't run from uncomfortable emotions. We wield them. Think about it. What if, instead of hiding from your jealousy, you dissected it, understood it, turned it into power? Imagine how far you could go if you used your envy, not to hate others, but to outwork your former self. Let me give you a story. A client of mine, let's call him Darius, once told me he hated seeing others win. Every time he opened social media, he felt like he was drowning in a sea of other people's success. It made him bitter. He withdrew. He procrastinated. But deep down, what he felt wasn't really hatred for others. It was a cry for his own unlived potential. We worked through his feelings. We broke down what triggered him and why. We rewired the response. Instead of scrolling in silence and rage, he used each post as a reminder. If this is making me feel something, it's because it matters to me. It's because I want this too. Within 8 months, Darius started his own business. He stopped watching and started building. Jealousy didn't destroy him. It rebuilt him. This is Shadow Mastery. We turn the shadows into strength. We don't avoid the darkness. We dive in because that's where the treasure is buried. So today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to transform your jealousy into ambition. No fluff, no spiritual bypassing, no pretending that love and light fixes everything. This is strategy. This is psychology. This is practical power. And by the end of this journey, you'll not only respect your jealousy, you'll be grateful for it. Because it's been trying to show you the way all along. Most people misunderstand jealousy. They treat it like a disease, a sign of weakness. But in truth, jealousy is nothing more than a signal, raw, real, and deeply personal. It's your subconscious screaming, "I want that." And the reason it hurts is because you've convinced yourself you can't have it. But here's what they don't teach you. Jealousy isn't telling you to steal, sabotage, or self-destruct. It's telling you to wake up, to get honest, to recognize your own suppressed ambition. Let me break it down for you. There are 2 types of jealousy. The first is toxic jealousy, the kind where you let bitterness eat away at your joy. You gossip, you belittle, you sabotage. That's what happens when you suppress it. But there's a second kind, a productive jealousy. That's when you acknowledge what you feel without shame, and then ask yourself, why did this trigger me? What am I truly longing for? Let's say you're jealous of a friend who just bought a luxury car. It's not really about the car. It's about freedom, success, the ability to provide. That envy is telling you, I want more from my life. And instead of ignoring it, you use it. Let me tell you about someone who did exactly that. A woman named Lena used to compare herself to everyone. She'd scroll endlessly on Instagram, jealous of influencers, CEOs, women with seemingly perfect lives. Every scroll made her feel smaller, But instead of spiraling, she decided to document every time she felt that pang. She kept a jealousy journal, and after 30 days, she saw a pattern. She wasn't just jealous of anyone. She was jealous of women who used their voices, women who created, women who led. That jealousy wasn't toxic, it was directional. So, Lena launched her own podcast. Her voice shook in the beginning, but she pushed through. 6 months later, she was interviewing best-selling authors. Jealousy wasn't her downfall, it was her compass. That's the reframe I want you to adopt. Jealousy isn't weakness, it's insight. It's not about them. It's about you and the future version of you trying to break free. In Shadow Mastery, we use every emotion, even the ones that scare us, to carve a clearer path. We ask, what is this feeling trying to teach me? And then we act on it. So, the next time jealousy creeps in, don't shrink. Lean it, study it. Ask yourself, what part of me is being ignored? What dream have I silenced? Because sometimes the envy you feel isn't a curse. It's your highest self banging on the door, demanding to be unleashed. Let's talk science for a moment. When you feel jealousy, your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's operating with stunning precision. Neuroscience shows that envy lights up the same regions of your brain associated with physical pain. That's right. Jealousy doesn't just feel like a punch. It is a punch, neurologically speaking. But here's the twist. That pain, it's not punishment. It's a call to action. Your brain is telling you something you value is missing from your life. Go get it. And when you ignore that signal, when you pretend you don't care, you trap that energy inside. Unexpressed, it becomes bitterness. But when you channel it, you activate a powerful biological feedback loop. Desire, discomfort, direction, action, achievement. Let's break that down. Desire, you see something you want, success, freedom, love, influence. 2, discomfort. Your brain sends a signal. You don't have this. That's the envy. Direction. If you're conscious, you ask, why do I want this? What would it look like for me? Or action. You begin to move, plan, build, improve. 5, achievement. You bridge the gap. You embody what once triggered you. This is not philosophy. It's biology meeting psychology. But most people stop at step 2. They feel the discomfort and freeze. They lash out. They hate. They scroll, compare, and self-destruct. Why? Because no one ever taught them how to convert emotional pain into productive movement. That's where Shadow Mastery comes in. Shadow Mastery is the art of taking what most people avoid: anger, jealousy, resentment, and weaponizing it for growth. Let me tell you about Mateo. Mateo was a fitness coach. For years, he plateaued. His peers were blowing up on YouTube, Instagram, getting sponsors, building online courses. Every time he saw their success, he felt that gut punch. At first, he drowned it with excuses. They had better genetics. They got lucky. I don't care about being famous. But deep down, he did care. Not for the fame, but for the impact, the reach, the ability to create something bigger than himself. One night, instead of numbing the feeling, he sat down and wrote, "What exactly am I jealous of? What does it say about me?" He realized he wasn't jealous of the followers. He was jealous of their bravery to put themselves out there. And that meant he wanted to do the same. So, he launched his channel, clumsy at first, cringy at times, but within a year, he had over 100,000 subscribers. Mateo didn't run from envy. He turned it into energy. That's the truth about jealousy. It's not a character flaw. It's fuel, waiting to be ignited by intention and action. So the next time you feel that burning in your chest, don't suppress it. Don't shame it. Study it. Channel it. Use it. Because your biology has already shown you the path. All you have to do is walk it. The first step in mastering your jealousy isn't to fix it. It's to feel it, to recognize it, and to name it without shame. Because what you can name, you can tame. Too often, people try to rise above jealousy. They pretend they're too evolved for it. They say things like, "I'm not jealous, I'm just annoyed. I'm not envious, I just don't like them." But that's denial. And what you deny, you can never transform. Shadow mastery begins with brutal honesty. So here's what I want you to do. Keep a jealousy log for the next 7 days. Every time you feel a spike of envy, write it down. Where were you? Who triggered it? What exactly did you feel? Anger, sadness, smallness, rage? And most importantly, what part of yourself felt attacked or exposed? Don't overthink it. Don't analyze it yet. Just observe. Track your patterns. Let the data speak. You're not trying to judge yourself. You're trying to understand yourself. Here's why this works. Most people's jealousy stays in the shadows because they're afraid to look it in the eye. But when you drag it into the light, it loses its poison. I once worked with a client named Aria. She was a young writer who couldn't bring herself to publish her work. Every time she saw other writers online getting published, getting praised, she felt sick, not inspired, not motivated. Sick. She thought it meant she was a bad person, that she wasn't supportive enough. But when we dug deeper, it became clear. She wasn't angry at them. She was angry at herself for betraying her own potential. So I gave her this assignment. Keep a jealousy log. Every post, every tweet, every book announcement that triggered her. Write it down. At first, it was uncomfortable. But after a few days, a pattern emerged. She wasn't jealous of just any writers. She was jealous of the ones who wrote boldly, who took risks, who said the things she was too scared to say. That was the mirror, and that mirror didn't lie. That one realization, it broke her silence. She published her first article 3 weeks later. It went viral. You see, jealousy is rarely about the other person. It's about the part of you that's dormant, begging to wake up. So, start small. Track the jealousy. Label it. Say it aloud, if you have to. Say it with no shame. I'm jealous of him because he's bold. I want to be bold too. I'm jealous of her success. I want to succeed too. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you self-aware. And self-awareness is the first tool of transformation. If you want to master your shadow, you must first be willing to see it clearly. Now that you've named your jealousy, it's time to ask the deeper question. What does this tell me about what I truly want? Because jealousy at its core is contrast. It shows you what's missing. It reveals where you've settled, where you've played small, where you've told yourself this is good enough while your soul screamed for more. So here's your next task. Turn your jealousy into a personal mission statement. How? By transforming every trigger into clarity. Let me show you. Let's say you feel jealous when someone speaks on stage, commands attention, inspires thousands. Instead of stewing in that emotion, ask, what part of this do I crave? Maybe it's not the spotlight itself, it's the freedom to express your truth. Maybe it's the respect. Maybe it's the impact. That's the gift jealousy offers. It strips away your social masks. It exposes the ambition you've buried under fear, self-doubt, and excuses. Now, write it out. Use this sentence. When I feel jealous of Baronet, it reveals my desire to repeat this for every entry in your jealousy log. You'll start seeing patterns, theme, the same desire wrapped in different packaging. And once you have clarity, you can define your mission. Let me give you a real-life example. There was a man named Eli. He worked in IT. Quiet, smart, invisible. He never posted online, never spoke up in meetings. But every time he saw someone speaking confidently, sharing ideas, being seen, he felt something sharp. At first, he thought it was annoyance. He told himself, people talk too much these days. Everyone wants attention. But deep down, he was jealous. Because he wanted to be seen too. He wanted to lead. He wanted to matter. When he finally admitted it, something clicked. He wrote, "When I feel jealous of confident speakers, it reveals my desire to lead with purpose and clarity." That one sentence became his compass. Within a year, Eli was leading meetings, starting workshops, helping others find their voice. That's the power of clarity through contrast. Your jealousy is not just pain, it's potential. And every time you feel it, you're being given a choice. You can compare and collapse, or contrast and create. So don't just log the emotion. Decode it, mine it, turn it into a statement so clear, so compelling, that it pulls you forward. Your shadow knows what you want. Your envy is just the way it whispers. There's more for you. Don't settle. Go get it. Awareness is powerful. Clarity is liberating. But without execution, they're just ideas floating in the mind. You've felt the jealousy. You've named it. You've understood it. You've written your desire clearly. Now it's time to move. Because ambition without a plan is just a fantasy. And shadow mastery is about movement through darkness, not just reflection. Let's revisit your jealousy log. Pick one entry that strikes the deepest chord. Maybe it's the friend who just launched a business. Maybe it's the influencer who built a loyal audience. Maybe it's someone who speaks freely without fear. Ask yourself, what small, imperfect action could I take this week that aligns with this desire? Notice the word imperfect, because perfectionism is often just fear dressed up in productivity. You don't need to be ready. You just need to be honest and in motion. Let me share a story. There was a woman named Mia. She was a graphic designer who worked quietly for years, always behind the scenes. But every time she saw someone selling digital art courses online, she felt a pang. Not because she wanted to teach, but because she wanted creative independence. To make what she wanted, not just what clients demanded. Her jealousy said, "I want to be free." So I asked her, what's one imperfect step you could take this week toward that freedom? She hesitated. She wanted to plan the perfect course, the perfect launch, the perfect brand. I told her, forget perfect, post one piece of original work, just one. No branding, no strategy, just truth. She did, and people responded, not with thousands of likes, but with recognition, with connection, and that gave her momentum. 3 months later, she was selling her art online. You don't need a master plan. You need a moment of courage, and then another, and another. That's how you build the bridge from envy to execution. One real step at a time. So here's your challenge. Open your jealousy journal. Find the pattern. Choose the clearest desire. Now break it down. Ask, what would a 1% version of this look like today? Want to write a book? Write one messy paragraph. Want to be a speaker? Record a 1-minute voice memo. Want to start a business? Sketch out a name and a basic offer. Small doesn't mean weak. Small means start now. Because action, no matter how tiny, is how you prove to yourself, I'm no longer just watching others live the life I want. I'm building mine inch by inch, decision by decision. And that is shadow mastery in motion. You've taken the first step. You've acted. But now comes the real challenge. Staying in motion when no one's clapping. Because turning jealousy into a spark is easy. But keeping that fire alive day after day. That requires something deeper. That's where identity comes in. At some point, it's no longer about the person who triggered you. It's about who you're becoming. And that shift from envy to identity is where shadow mastery evolves into self-transformation. Let me explain. When you first feel jealous, it's usually external. They have something I want. But when you begin acting on that desire, the question becomes, what kind of person would I need to become to deserve this? And here's the secret. The more you act in alignment with that answer, the more your identity upgrades. You go from someone who feels envy, to someone who uses envy, to someone who outgrows envy altogether. Let's make this real. Say you envy someone who's incredibly disciplined. They wake up early. They show up. They stay consistent. You admire their results. But what you're really longing for is their identity. So, instead of watching them, you become them. You ask yourself, what does a disciplined person do on a bad day? How would they handle this obstacle? And then you act accordingly, not because you're pretending, but because you're training your nervous system to embody the next version of you. Over time, this rewires your brain. Jealousy no longer hits the same, not because it's gone, but because you've integrated it. You've built yourself from the fire. It started. I'll give you a story. There was a man named Jalen. He used to feel intense jealousy towards successful entrepreneurs. He followed them obsessively, compared constantly. He even started mimicking them, but always from a place of lack. One day he stopped, not because the jealousy was gone, but because he realized something. I don't want their life. I want the strength they built it with. So he stopped copying them and started building habits that made him feel powerful. Waking up early, training his body, reading, risking, not for clout, not for validation, but to become someone he could respect. 16 months later, he built a six-figure business. But more importantly, he built self-trust. That's the final form of jealousy. Not a trigger, not even a motivator, but a portal, a doorway into the version of you that's been waiting to rise. So, remember, you don't need to prove yourself to the people you envy. You need to prove yourself to yourself, because when the applause fades, the lights dim, and no one's watching, what matters most is who you've become in the process. And that's a legacy built from your shadow. By now, you've seen jealousy differently. Not as something to fear, but as something to follow. You've learned how to observe it, decode it, act on it, and transform with it. But here's the final shift, turning jealousy into your inner GPS. Because life will keep throwing distractions at you. Shiny objects, fake goals, expectations from others. And slowly, without noticing, you drift. You lose direction. You forget why you started. That's where jealousy comes in. Not as a flaw, but as a check-in, a reminder. Hey, you've lost connection to something important to you. See, jealousy doesn't just arise when you lack something. It flares up when you've betrayed your alignment, when you've stopped honoring your true potential, when you've chosen comfort over courage, safety over soul. So, what do? We treat jealousy as feedback, not failure. When it shows up, you don't spiral. You don't shame yourself. You pause and ask, what is this trying to tell me about where I'm meant to go? That one question will keep your ambition honest. It'll cut through the noise. It'll bring you back to your path, not the world's. Let me give you one last story. There was a man named Isaac, highly skilled, deeply talented, but stuck in a corporate job he hated. He watched former classmates chase dreams, build businesses, travel the world, and each time he felt that tightness in his chest. But instead of using it, he judged it. I should be happy. I have stability, a paycheck, security. But the truth, he wasn't jealous of their money. He was jealous of their aliveness. So one day, he asked himself, what is this really telling me? The answer came fast. You stopped listening to your heart. That moment changed everything. He didn't quit overnight. He didn't leap blindly. But he started honoring his gifts again. Volunteering for projects that lit him up, building something on the side, rediscovering what made him feel awake. And slowly, he shifted from lost to aligned, from bitter to bold. Now, every time jealousy shows up, he thanks it, because it's not his enemy. It's his compass, and that's what I want for you. Let jealousy be your reminder. Let it call you back to yourself. Every time it rises, say, this is not weakness, this is wisdom in disguise. You were never broken. You were just being guided. So, follow it, use it, and let it lead you home. To the version of you who refuses to settle, who dares to want more, and who's willing to become more to get it. You made it. You walked through the fire. You faced the emotion most people hide from. And now you understand something they never will. Jealousy is not your enemy. It's your invitation. It's the part of your soul that refuses to settle. The whisper behind your envy wasn't hate. It was hunger. It was the future version of you, trying to break free. And now that you've seen it, you can never unsee it. You can't go back to sleep. Not after knowing what your emotions are really trying to tell you. You now hold a choice. Not a comfortable one, but a powerful one. You can go back to numbing, scrolling, shrinking. Or you can rise. You can keep watching others live your dream. Or you can build yours from the raw, unfiltered truth of your own envy. Shadow mastery isn't about perfection. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the most honest version of you. The version that doesn't flinch when the darkness shows up, but uses it, harnesses it, wields it like a sword. Let your jealousy become the spark that ignites your identity. Let it show you what matters. Let it point to what you're truly made for. You've learned how to observe it, decode it, act on it, grow from it. Now go further. Build from it. Use it to fuel your discipline. Use it to sharpen your focus. Use it to remind you you were meant for more. And it's your job to go get it. And when the world tells you to calm down, be grateful, stay small, you'll smile because you know the truth. Your envy isn't weakness. It's evidence that there's something inside you that refuses to die quietly. So don't die quietly. Don't live safely. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. You were born with a shadow for a reason. You were meant to walk through the dark and come out dangerous, deliberate, and fully alive. Let your jealousy awaken the warrior within. Let it burn down who you were, so you can rise as who you were, always meant to become. Now go. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now.